Okay? I want to show you something. I have this strange idea that there's nothing in the Bible that's by accident, that every number, every place name, every detail is there by skillful engineering. And that's an interesting challenge to find that. In Numbers, you say, okay, Chuck, let's look at Numbers 2. You say every detail is by design? Yes. What possibly could be hidden? What detail could be hidden behind the camp of Israel? Jesus said, the volume of the book is written of me. So somehow this is not only going to be meaningful, it's going to speak of Jesus Christ. Now, when you go through the numbering in Numbers 2, you'll discover you have the numbers of each of the tribes. And I won't go through the numbers here, save to say these are just extracted from the text. Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun are a group. And you go through, what do these numbers tell you? Well, nothing so far, except we do know from Numbers 2 that they cluster in 4 camps. And the camp of Judah, not the tribe of Judah, the camp of Judah, which includes Judah, Issachar, and Zebulun, adds up to 186,400. And Reuben, the camp of Reuben, adds up to 151. Ephraim, 108 and some, and Dan, 150 and odd. Say, gee, Chuck, what am I going to do with that information? Well, let's take a look at the camp of Israel. In the center of the camp was the tabernacle. No surprise. And the tabernacle was oriented so that on the eastern side was the one gate and so forth. And you should study the tabernacle because every detail, every dimension, every material speaks of Jesus Christ. The Levites themselves camped around the tabernacle. And I don't know how many there were there, and I don't know how much space they took. But whatever their space was, that's going to be our unit of measure for, you'll see, whatever it was. Because they're the Levites. Okay. Now, understand the instructions. Judah had to camp east of the Levites. Okay, the camp of Reuben, south of the Levites. That's what the scripture says. Yes, think like a rabbi. They tried very hard to obey what they regard as the law. So if they're going to be strictly obedient to this, there's a space they cannot camp, and that's southeast. Because it's neither south nor east. You follow me? I'll show you in a diagram. Only cardinal directions are ordained, and only the width of the camp's allowed. And the length will then be proportional to the population. In other words, if we have the Levites, Judah would camp on the eastern side. Their symbol was the lion. They could camp as wide as the Levites did, but no wider, because then they're no longer east. Follow me? But they'll take as much space as they need. Now, Reuben, his symbol was the man, and they camped on the south side, and they could only camp as wide as the Levites, or they wouldn't be south anymore. There's an area here you can't camp because it's southeast. It's prohibited. So you go ahead and finish this out with Ephraim up on the west side, who's the ox, and you have Dan here, who originally was the serpent, but Ahazer changed it to an eagle with a serpent in its mouth, and it becomes a symbol of Dan. There's a whole thing there for another day. But the point is, okay, here we are, and let's put the numbers in. This one, they're going to be as long as the proportion of their population. The numbers are the number of men they're able to go to war. Okay. Add to that a wife, maybe a kid. There's a multiple, 2.3, 2.5, something, to get the actual population. We don't care. It's proportions we're interested in. There's 186 there, 108 there. And when you lay it out, if you fly over the camp of Israel while it's in the wilderness, what do you see? What do you see? You said that, I didn't. Now, I think that's fascinating. There is an aerial sketch of the camp of Israel tucked away in the Torah. And like all of these things, they're not only curious, they always point to Jesus Christ. And interestingly enough, the model with God dwelling in the center, that's what the tabernacle was all about, is surrounded again by the ox, the man, the eagle, and the lion, as we see in the throne of God. Probably unknown to them, maybe they did understand, they were modeling the throne of God as they traveled, interestingly enough. So that's a little side piece. Let's move on.